Well, Jesse, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. And when the team reached out and got in touch with me, I was first interested because of Stable Hall, how incredible of a venue it is, and great partners of Prism, and just such an interesting story. And I actually didn't even realize that it was a part of Dayglo, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like Dayglo is this like prolific brand that like people know about, but also people don't know about, and it does like so many cool things.
Yeah.
Then I learned
Yeah.
about you and you're a producer, you've worked with Tedeschi Trucks, and so I'm like, this is gonna be a fun conversation with Pussy Riot as well. So anyways,
That one doesn't get mentioned very often, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
anyway,
I'm
I'm
glad
so
you
excited.
got gravitated towards that. That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I told you I got your website over here, so I'm just like, because it's so
yeah.
see, my morning
There's a
jack.
lot of there's a lot of names on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fish. Anyway, so you're definitely doing some cool stuff, and like,
Appreciate
I
you saying that. Just for correction, I've worked with members of my morning jacket. I've never
okay,
worked with Fish, but Fish is probably on there because I've done some DJing in Mexico. Over the years, Fish's Mexico getaway. So
got
yeah, but yeah, have
yeah.
to clarify that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
but
It sounded like you're in the documentary, or like the fish members are in your documentary, or something like that. Yeah, that's
oh
it.
yeah, yeah. I have a new film coming out, and Paige McConnell from Fish is a featured interview in it, actually,
Okay.
which is very cool. Yeah.
Well, that's very astute of you to like very much clarify to what extent you have worked with them. But
Yep.
your website's correct. They're in your documentary. But anyway, what a fun conversation that we're about to have unfolding
Yeah,
here.
I'm excited, man. Yeah,
Yeah, we could jump in on so many things, but let's start with Stable Hall. Give me the story of Stable
sure.
Hall. It's such a
Well,
crazy building, and yeah, it's so curious. So
crazy building. I mean, look, I would be lying to you if I told you I was familiar with this place a year ago. Even it's February, right, of 26. We started working on this project in the fall of last year. Um, and I was Pete was Shapiro. So just a little background on Dayglo. You mentioned the company, and in case for people who don't know, Peter is a promoter, and a lot of people have referred to him as the modern day Bill Graham. There aren't a lot of like promoters, impresario type promoters. In the vein of a Bill Graham that exists, Pete honestly might be the only one in at least the United States. And our company is Dayglo. That's the name of it. It's like we are Dayglo is essentially like the brainchild of it's the umbrella of everything that Pete does. Brooklyn Bowl, Capitol Theater, Garcia's, Relics Magazine, which is our media arm. It's I'm in Pete's office right now. He is away, so I get to use his office. Um, so Dayglo it's a unique company. So one day Peter was contacted by our now friends and partners at Silver Ventures, Potluck Hospitality, the organizations that uh, oversee Stable Hall, which is in the Pearl district of San Antonio. The Pearl is a relatively new development, but unlike most new developments in the United States, where it's like a lot of like new buildings, this place has history. It was an old brewery, Pearl Beer. It was this beer that was like well known in Texas, and they have these, this amazing history. You can kind of look it up. There's a story about a woman named Emma. They built a hotel named after her, which is one of the nicest hotels I've ever been in, and I've stayed in a lot of nice hotels. It's just this stunning place that is very unique. Um, uh, Almost like an urban resort in its own weird way, but like it's comfortable. It doesn't Nothing about it feels like fake. It's a very authentic place, and a very authentic and very amazing city that I've grown to love pretty immensely over the last 6 months since I started working on this project. But Stable is the venue within the Pearl District. So you go to this place, you could stay at this hotel, you could live there. There's about 20 to 30,000 residents, I believe. And It's a very, very just like nice, easy place. It's a great vibe. One of the best things about it as well is that there's a ton of amazing restaurants all around it. But it has like old buildings, and the stable was literally the beer stable. It was like they would take kegs of beer, put them on horse and buggy, and the horses would leave the stable, and they would go off to their, drop offs, and that's how people got their beer from
I love
this
that.
brewery, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, and so there's like a lot of like cool history, provenance, um,
just really quick.
and
I love old
yeah,
buildings. It's like one of my favorite
yeah,
kind of structures and music venues. And I gotta ask, I jump in there. Is that
yeah.
with that old of the building? Is there any ghosts hanging around the building?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, look, I haven't like experienced it that deeply, but like generally speaking, like there's also like some murders and other stories involved. I'm not the one to speak to it, but it's a cool place with a lot of interesting stories, and they like a lot of the businesses are named after the people who worked for the brewery, and
Oh, that's just amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really dope. I mean, the whole Emma story's great. There, you got to look into it, man. They've done a really like top-notch job with it, and the restaurants are Michelin rated, and the Culinary Institute of America's like Midwest campus, I believe, but like the Texas campus is right next to the venue. So there's like chefs training. They're like they're learning their craft. They go out the door and they're working at a restaurant, and they could pop or mixologists are making cocktails, and they could pop in the stable for the night and catch a show. Anyway, so I said that stable is the beer stable. So it's this beautiful round building. Kind of looks like a coliseum, right? And it reminded me of like a building you'd see in like Madrid, I'm not kidding. It has this Spanish colonial vibe, and
I agree.
um, and then So we were asked about doing this project, and I went to go visit in June, just kind of like pretty unsure about it. I'm like, oh, we've never done anything in Texas before. Don't know the market at all. A lot of competition. Austin, San Antonio, what's the deal with that? Radius, we don't know. A lot of educating that we are still doing and still, learning as we've engaged in this project. And I show up to this place, man, and I was just blown away by it. I was like, oh my God, this is stunning. This is such a the hotel was great, but the venue, it was a 10. I couldn't believe it. I'm not trying to just I'm just honestly telling you, like we had no clue what I had no clue what I was stepping into. I don't feel like photos do it justice. And everyone I've brought to it since, it's like had the same reaction. It's just like, wow, they did an impeccable job on the room. Sound system's great, stage is stunning, all the views. It's kind of in the round, but it's not. It just has like a circular vibe. It feels like the type of room that is gonna like make an impact just simply because of how it makes you feel when you walk in.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, we experienced that with the Capitol Theater. All of our rooms, Garcia, Chicago, and which I worked very hard on. And it was just like one of those rooms where I was just like, this is we have to do this. So I literally like
One thousand capacity, right?
say that again. You're
One
kind of
thousand.
breaking up a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, here I'm gonna pause
Is
for a
that
second.
Yeah, let's keep rolling. All right.
Okay, little
Um,
technical thing, but we're back. Yeah.
cool.
I was asking,
Back
it's
on.
1,000
Well,
capacity, right?
capacity is about 1,000. I'd say 950 standing, 650 seated. Anyway, just to finish the story, though, I got a tour of this place. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a perfect room. I called Pete and I said, we have to do this. And he was like, I think he was surprised. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, no, we have to do this. This room is incredible. And
Totally.
so he came down and he completely agreed. He totally saw it. He was like, wow, this is amazing. The room's incredible. We probably wouldn't have done it if the room wasn't as incredible as it was, but then it turns out that they had this really incredible, organization behind it as well. Uh, Great GM and Garrett Zimmerman. And also just like the possibilities with like not only accommodations for artists, but just like the fan experience. It's like not, I think a lot of people are getting more, accustomed to these sort of like VIP type experiences. Obviously, we're not expecting, a ton of people to come from out of the city or out of state, to the venue. We're hoping that eventually happens. That takes time, but there is the possibility of this being like like almost like a premier spot, like where it's like incredible concert venue, incredible hotel, and incredible dining experiences. You have everything you need to have a great weekend to see like your favorite band in San Antonio and experience a city that is like really like this right now. It's a cool town with a lot of cool history. Me being a big basketball fan, I'm loving what's happening with the Spurs and Wemby. So that energy, you know, that goes to everything else that's happening, and we talk about that a lot. And I'm feeling it. I really have enjoyed this project and this venue, and we're starting to see it with the bookings.
Incredible, incredible. Something that's coming through for me is just around like what experiences into the future are going to work, and there's like a lot of conversations happening like on like the economic side of things and like the challenges with venues. And I think what I love is that y'all are leaning in right now and starting new venues and not just doing black boxes, but like really doing cool experiences. So I'm like wondering if you could kind of speak to like in a time where honestly venues like are some venues are struggling, are like not making it work. Like it's amazing
Mhm.
this like I like kudos to y'all for yeah, Garcia's and Stable Hall and like leaning in right now. So like what do you like, do you feel the economic headwinds right now, and like what's causing you and Pete and Dayglo to like lean in right now and get these spots going and also not it's like this project is like a cost effective project. I imagine it's like this big beautiful historical building.
Yeah,
So anyway, I
yeah.
think yeah, you got what I'm asking. Yeah.
Oh, look, I'll get deep with you on this. I mean, yeah, it's not even like for us, this, these things are not economic considerations. For us, there's a deeper meaning and mission to this stuff, and no BS. It for us, live music and music is sacred. Our company is very much founded and rooted in, the ethos of the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia. It is who we are, where we come from. There's a reason, we do so much in the jam band space, but we also do a lot outside the jam band space too. And we believe in these spaces as being, a place for like community building and healing, especially in a time where,
Love that.
yeah, yeah, where people are, like thirsty for connection, right? And it's, we're kind of coming off of this time. It seemingly is like, we're all addicted to our phones and to social media, but live music seemingly is, it's never going to go away, even with like people being scared of, AI and all that stuff, or like holographic, live bands and stuff like that. Nothing's ever going to replace human beings
Agreed.
playing music with their hands and their hearts and their minds and their feet. And we want
Souls.
to, yeah, exactly. And we're in the business of supporting that. That's what we do. It's if we make money, that's great. We're trying to, we're trying to get there so we could, pay the people who are work on the front lines making these buildings operate and work, right? We have a lot of mouths to feed. That's the whole thing that I see, on a daily basis, is the fact that like, it's our mission to like, keep this just going as far as we can take it. And also, discover cool places along the way, like San Antonio, Texas, which like I said to you before, like a year ago, I'd never been there. And now I love this place. I think it's a cool city that deserves your dollars, your visit, and your time. And I've been telling people, I've been evangelizing it recently. It's been a real thrill to be able to go there. And I get excited to go there. I live in New York City, greatest city in the world. And I get excited to go to San Antonio, Texas, and for good reason. It's a great place with great people, great culture, and a lot you can learn about life and arts and culture.
Yeah, I think people are, like consumer dollars are an interesting, like a lot of people are fighting over consumer dollars and like a tight economy right now. And I think it's wise of y'all to have, these experiences that aren't just your run of the mill kind of black box music venue or whatever. And like you're I'm kicking myself because I'm like right down the street from y'all, but I just had my third
Mhm.
kid and I haven't made it to the venue yet. But
Okay.
I've heard that I will. I'm an hour and a half
String
drive.
cheese string cheese incident. End of May.
What's the
Uh,
date?
May 28th. Tell
Yo,
your friends.
I'm gonna
They're
hit you
kicking off
up.
their
I'm
tour with
coming.
us at Stable Hall.
Okay, I'm coming.
Awesome.
Let's hang. But
I
anyway,
love
like it
that.
reminds me a bit of like what Kessler's doing up in Dallas with the Longhorn Ballroom. Like when I went to the Longhorn Ballroom, I was like, man, if I was like I drove to Dallas for that experience, and I would go again. Like I kind of keep checking their calendar just because it's like I don't know, it feels like something that's worthy of my consumer dollars in this precious time right now is to like
Yeah,
I think it's smart of y'all to do this, the old historic theater and like something that's like different when you walk into the venue and it's an experience and like yeah, it's all
right.
about the band at the end of the day and so
Yeah, and it's cool. It's and for us, like, yeah, we love history. It was cool for me recently too because I was telling you about the beer, and you know, just 2 weeks ago, they have a this massive warehouse with like their entire archives from the brewery. They've kept everything, ads, posters, ephemera, you name it. And the venue kind of to me felt like it was lacking some of that. Like the room itself is like incredible. They did like a plus job with it, but like in the surrounding rotunda area, I was like, oh, we could use some more like vintage, you know stuff, interior work. And I got to go through these archives, right? And I learned so much about the hall from that. This was not an active music venue prior to 2023, but it was an event. It was an active event space, and they had people come through it. And I learned that John Wayne was in the building once, and I was like, "There you go. This is the sort of stuff that, like, if there's a ghost to your previous question, it's the ghost of John Wayne." You know?
oh man, that's epic. Yeah, I think these like historical spaces like need to be nurtured and
Yeah,
cared for and they could just as easily be bulldozed as they could be nurtured and it's like
totally.
this I don't know this challenge of like living in the capitalist country and like just to go deep on you like we're all part of these like for-profit businesses and there's a lot of benefits to capitalism and all the bands and creativity that have emerged from this culture is like unequivocal but at the same time like the teeth of capitalism can just mow down these spaces and yeah again like a bulldozer could have hit that place as
Sure.
just as easily as y'all picked it up and are nurturing the space that like John Wayne was hanging out in and like
Well, I think that's that also that speaks
especially
to
this AI era
yeah.
it's such a so
Yeah.
go ahead please go ahead yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, look, it also speaks to Silver Ventures and Kit and Bryant and all the people who it's interesting. It's we have an interesting dynamic. It's like a lot of non-music people who built this venue, right? They're kind of like they came to us like as to like what do we do with this? And they're wonderful people. They're smart business people, but they also, like you said, or we're saying, built this development in old buildings. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot more money. Usually takes a lot of time. And sometimes it provides, um, you know, a lot of stress for people, but the reward in the end is it doesn't compare. I'd much like people just feel comfortable in these places. It's sort of like, why are people going to analog now versus digital? Well, you respond to it differently when there's like a lot of care in these older materials and there's a lot more sweat in it. You energetically respond to it differently. And that's I think people are going to experience that in Stable Hall, which is an old room, but at the same time a new experience within an old room. And also like kind of what we did with the Capitol Theater. Like, we didn't gut renovate the Capitol Theater, but Peter, definitely put some time and money into making that place, you know, come alive again.
I love it. Love what y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Got so many thoughts and questions. One thing that you brought up is just not being familiar with the Texas market, and
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
there greatest clause with Austin,
Hmm.
and how it has adapting to the Texas market been, and what have you learned about San Antonio, and like what was your strategy? Like, are you all working with like local promoters, and yeah, like
Hmm.
let's dive
Yeah.
into details of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we elected to go the route like Jason Adams, who had been, he was actually a GM previously in Stable, could decided to step down, but he's a booker. We've retained him He works with Outback, and he's been great. It's good to still have someone with familiarity, with the building and with the market, and has put really good shows in that room. We've kept him, but he's not our head buyer. We brought in Hannah Gold, the head booker of the Newport Folk and Jazz Festivals. Used to be the head booker of City Winery here in New York, and books the Hudson River Music Festival for us, our new festival that we have here in Westchester. Um, which is going to be, I think, a very special event, new kind of folk festival, in the site where Pete Seeger would do the Clearwater Festival. Hannah did the Luck reunion at Willie Nelson's
I was gonna
ranch.
say, yeah, she has
Yeah,
some.
yeah, and so she knew Texas a bit from that, and but she has so much like national clout. She was like the perfect choice for us to bring her in for this, and we so Hannah's our buyer. We're technically the promoter, but Stable Hall is totally independent, so they're promoting, yeah, as well. But yeah, we're developing relationships with people. We're open to anything. We're open to all conversations. We've been having some great conversations with people who other venues, other promoters about co-pros, other venues putting shows in our room that might work better for Stable. So we're exploring every avenue and possibility and learning the market along the way. I think for us, it's like learning a little bit more about country. We're not, we don't do a lot of metal in our other venues, but we know country and metal do well in San Antonio. Country, obviously, very appropriate for Stable Hall. Is how appropriate is metal? Well, we see it at work. It's a nice room though. It's like it's kind of the word I like to use to describe this room is elegant. It's very elegant. You know, it has you walk into it, and it kind of has the same feeling you get when you walk into like a Radio City music hall. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is just sort of like, it has this heightened sense of design, and it kind of feels like you're being transported to another time in a lot of ways.
Oh,
So yeah. So anyway, so we're definitely learning, but
just a quick
we're all
note.
also,
That's
yeah.
sorry to cut you off. That's funny that the that what's revealing itself about the San Antonio market is like country and metal, and it's not so much the conversation now, but I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago, when you were could ask people what kind of music do you like, and they're like, oh, anything but country and metal. It's like this thing that I used to hear repeated, but country has changed, metal has changed, but
Yeah,
you said that,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that does cover San Antonio well, the
But
country
it's
and metal.
also
Yeah.
San Antonio. San Antonio, though, is also one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. It's also one of the
Oh, no
largest,
kidding.
and yeah, it's one of the largest cities in the United States too in land mass. So look, and when you have you know growing population and a large place of people, there's going to be a diversity in taste. So look, I think that's what we provide is that like we can bring diverse acts to the building. People know Peter Shapiro, they know his reputation, they know that we are, trustworthy individuals when it comes to putting on shows, and that we work with rooms that, or we build rooms or we manage rooms that, you know, are great experiences. Artists leave, everyone was taken care of, hospitality was top notch, um, settlement was easy. Prism, thank you.
Yes,
and
yes, yeah.
it's you know so for us it's like, okay, we're trying things out, like I said, we're putting the string cheese incident in this room in a few months. It's on sale, did pretty good, but at the same time it's we still have more tickets to sell, you know and we do a lot of Grateful Dead stuff. We don't know how Grateful Dead does in San Antonio. Grateful Dead generally does pretty well in most places, but at the same time, though, this is definitely a city. It's close to the border. The other genre that I failed to mention is Latin.
Awesome, yeah.
There's a lot of really amazing Latin artists that have played this venue and that we want to get in there as well. So yeah. So look, I think for us, it's like we want to try everything in this room. We really that works, that we know we can put in the room and it makes sense for us on a, creative and financial level.
Incredible. I guess I'll use the opportunity to kind of shamelessly promote Prism, but yeah,
Yeah.
thank you all for bringing us into the room, and how's
Yeah.
Prism doing for your team, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not the person on on Prism every hour of the day. That's really our booking and operations people. But from a leadership perspective, what I care about is like visibility and organization, and just like making sure my guys are good and liking the tools that they have to work with. And I think Prism has been giving us that. Um, when you're running multiple rooms, calendar visibility is, everything.
Yeah,
And just kind of having it like a centralized place where we can go and just see how everything's doing. And
cool.
it's clean. I love the UI. It's great. Um, it avoids any, it's like we're trying to avoid frictions, right? We want the tools that we have to make the flow of all the things work. And it's working when people aren't complaining about it. They're
Yeah,
happy. I,
yeah,
check in with my people. Yeah, I was in preparation for this too. It's just like, hey, how are you liking it? Loving it. It's just like, great, perfect. You guys have
great.
provided us with a tool that is working for us, and that makes our jobs easy, which is putting on the shows.
Incredible, incredible. And yeah, we launched Insights in the last year or so. I know y'all are participants in Insights, and how's that side of the tech going for you?
Say that one more time.
I was just asking about Insights. Like, how is Insights going for your team?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think with insights, for me, I love it because like it's like, oh, cool, it's all there. It's
Yeah,
like, I'm seeing like, oh, ticket count. It's all that's the question. Where's the ticket count at, right?
yeah,
And but the financials is obviously, that's everything. When you're, having that real time P&L is huge. It's okay, how much more money should we throw at marketing, for the show? And these are the things that we decide, we're talking about on a daily basis. Oh yeah, that one's not doing great. That's looking great. And it's all there. It's all like
yeah,
up on a dashboard for us. It's beautiful. So I really love the insights. It's a very intuitive system. It's so easy to learn. I feel like I'm not the expert, but I've, messed around with it. And
yeah, yeah.
I
Love it.
it's just knowing that our people have this at their disposal, right? It makes our lives, you know, it makes us able to do what we do, at the level that we do it.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Of course,
It's a
thank
really
you.
cool, yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a cool story with the venue. I kind of wanted to take a minute to like, it's funny that I didn't deep dive on you right away. Why don't you tell us about like, let's do this hilarious thing and do the thing we should have probably started with. Like, tell us more about who you are and your
Oh man.
experience. And yeah.
Well, I
How'd you
guess
get
I haven't
involved with
even.
all this crazy stuff? Yeah,
Oh man, wow! I mean, a lifetime of going to see concerts, being a musician myself, being a music producer. But I mean, I guess that you probably maybe in your intro you said what my title is with this company. My title's head of production, but I do also, in a lot of ways, work on the venue operations side of things too. But we have a bunch of people in the Dayglo office who work with venue operations. We all kind of like, oversee different properties and projects, and we all work together and collaborate together, and it's a great flow. But yeah, I mean, my background in history was, you know, I'll go back to seeing my first concert when I was 6 years old, Aretha Franklin, Chastain Park Amphitheater, Atlanta, Georgia. And then I saw my first Fish concert when I was 8, and I kind of like,
nice.
I wanted to be in music from that point. November 9th, 1995, Fox Theater, Atlanta. Um, Went from San Francisco to Atlanta. That was my geographic. Then I came to New York. I decided I wanted to be a record producer at a pretty early age, and my career started off in that. I went to school for it, and then was working with bands and recording studios. My background is in that, like recording albums, mixing albums, engineering, working band with bands on arrangements and stuff like that. I have a creative music background. I am a musician. But all the while, when I was doing music production, I worked in venues throughout New York. Did some tours, did some tour managing along the way, um, and got to know live the difference between live consoles and large format recording consoles, which are beasts and very take a lot of take a lot of work to learn. So I think developing that sort of like language, but also understanding the recorded world versus the live world. What's different and what's similar. I worked in houses of worship for a bit as a live sound engineer and in production, and that was a very long stint, but taught me a lot. You know how to work with you know it was like kind of like having like a venue with like the thing I always like to joke about the God business is that it's never going anywhere. It's like a blue chip stock. It's like having like the late night job. It's like, yeah, I know. I work at SNL, like yeah, every Saturday night, like every and with I worked at a church, so it was every Sunday morning, and then I worked at a synagogue, it was every Friday night or Saturday morning. Um,
Incredible.
but yeah, and then I started working for Pete full time about 2 years ago. He hired me as his head of production, and it's just it's been very easy. I've known everyone at this company for a very long time. I was doing a lot of work actively in Pete's world over the years, and uh, different projects and things like that. But had never worked for him full time, and it's been a really amazing match. And I love working for this company. It's been fantastic.
So what's the Pussy Riot story?
Oh man, it's so like, were you a fan?
I mean, I'm aware of their, kind of who they are and their impact, and
I recorded two songs with them that have never seen the light of day, and
oh,
that came through. I've worked with Lenny Kaye from the Patti Smith group for like the better part of 15 years. It's one of actually the greater relationships I've ever had on a human and spiritual and creative level. Like Lenny, if you don't know who that is like a legend. He started playing with Patti Smith like ever since the day she decided to start playing music. Um, if you read the book Just Kids, they tell the whole story about that, and he's been her ride or die ever since. He, on top of that, produced a very famous box set called Nuggets. That if you are a music head of any sort, you probably have seen the artwork of Nuggets. Like Lenny created that when he was before he was even in the Patti Smith group. But he's a great producer in his own right, and just he's a great writer. He is like the OG multi hyphenate in music, and just like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I started working with Lenny um, in my 20s. We met through just New York stuff and became really close. And he's been like almost like a father figure to me in music. But anyway, those sessions were because I was his engineer, and he was like, "Hey, Pussy Riot wants to work with me. Like, you ready to do this?" And we recorded a couple songs, and we had a lot of fun. They made me one of the masks. I still have it, and that's the Pussy Riot story.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, they were great.
What do you do with the
What?
mask? You got it like up on your fireplace or
I
something?
think I think it, I forget where it is. It's not on a fireplace though. No. Yeah.
In some drawer somewhere.
Yeah, I'm afraid to. Honestly, I know. Like, I haven't really talked very much about it. I think I'd like to visit Russia someday, but it might be a
Yeah.
problem if they see that I've worked with Pussy Riot, unless things change there. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's wow. That's an
yeah,
interesting point. Yeah.
yeah.
What's this documentary you got coming out?
Wow, you're speaking to me in the middle of the week on a February, and on, but I don't know if this is air. This will probably air after my film premieres, which is this Saturday. I just finished the Little Feat documentary.
Yeah, it'll be out
Uh,
after. So yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, well, the Little Feat documentary has been released into the world technically. It's premiering at the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival in Missoula, Montana. So I'm getting ready to go out there for that. And I spent a good part of the last 4 years directing this film. And it tells the story of one of the greatest bands to ever do it. And a band that here at Dayglo we love and support, and we put in our rooms as much as humanly possible, and just a band that's very deserving of having the music documentary treatment, but just has never had it, properly done.
yeah.
There's an unauthorized Lowell George documentary, um, but this I what I my goal was to sort of like chart the impact that this band has had and all the
Yeah.
amazing connections that they They have, like, a lot of people don't know that, like, Bonnie Raitt got her start with them, or that Lowell
Oh,
George produced
interesting.
Shakedown Street for the Grateful Dead, or that they would tour with the Doobie Brothers, and that Bill Payne is the piano player on all the big Doobie Brothers hits. So, I'm kind of like explaining that to people in documentary form. And Jeff Bridges is the narrator, which is really cool. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You worked with him on the
I
documentary?
did. I did. Yeah.
Is he like the dude in real life or no?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is
That's
the dude.
amazing.
He is the dude.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Well, I can't wait to see this documentary. It
Yeah.
sounds super interesting. Can you get it on like Netflix or like where can people watch it or
We're working on it. It's when you
cool.
make these films, they there's many ways you can pre-sell it, and they could go up quickly. But we've gone the route of, like, put it in film festivals and see who we think is deserving of it. So there you go.
Well, let's wrap with a couple kind of like fastball questions.
Sure.
What's like what's next for Dayglo as a whole? There's a question. Like, are y'all like I feel like y'all can't stay still, and certainly this portfolio that you have now that has expanded is like not done expanding. But yeah, what's next? Yeah,
We certainly cannot stand still. We're on a mission from God, and
I
there's
love
going
it,
to
man.
be some new openings, some new projects that we're going to be announcing soon. And just, I think, if you know about what we do, are a fan of Peter, we the music never stops. It's just the fact, and we're here to support that, capture it, let you experience it in real time in the future. And for us, it's like, we've been very East Coast based, and now we're kind of making our way westward, as
Cool.
Texas, only shows.
Yeah, maybe a clear up. Is Stable Hall like a part of like the Live Nation JV, or was that just Brooklyn Bulls, or
It's
like?
not, no, no,
Oh,
just the
cool.
Brooklyn Bulls. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mhm,
Interesting.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So
And
the
Capitol Theater. Yeah.
okay, so Brooklyn Bulls in Capitol Theater, but then the rest of the portfolio is like still
Independent. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
what Pete Shapiro on top of being a modern day God, who did you Bill
Bill
Graham.
Graham. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one of the only promoters to create a deal with Live Nation that still has a carve out to go and do a bunch of other stuff as well. Like I don't know if you could speak to that or not, but or that's
I can't speak to it because I have nothing to say, you know? Yeah. You just
yeah,
said it yourself. Yeah.
yeah, super interesting. Um,
Facts.
yeah, facts. That's yeah, good point. Oh, that's what mic drop on that one. What do you feel like? How do you feel about like I love that you're in this no matter what happens with the economy, but like,
Mhm.
what's your are you bullish on the economy and like kind of things turning around for live music, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a struggle here? Like, what's your like 10,000 foot view of the big question of like the economy over the next 12 months or the next 2 years? Yeah,
Not being someone who, I'm by no means, like, have a background in business economics.
yeah,
My expertise in economics is completely on an energetic level, like,
I
where,
love that.
I'm seeing things, and where, we are experiencing things. But I am seeing, or what I feel is just like, people are working really hard right now to make ends
Yeah,
meet.
yeah,
It's just, and we all want to, like, live comfortable lives. And I don't think that, the powers that be are making it easy for people in the slightest. And we and also for us too, like, I think the biggie in a lot of ways is, like, alcohol sales are down. Well, that's a
yep,
response to, the way of the world is, and people are getting sober for a reason. um you know um maybe some people would say, like, oh, we have to like, what would you drink your problems away and your woes away? But, actually, I want to experience this life with a clean head, and because it's
yeah,
just so crazy and fucked up out there. But, I think, like, right now, it's like, look, I think all we can do is just, like, keep going, and just take care of ourselves, and take care of other people, and hopefully, like, everything evens out, just not be too anxious about any of this stuff. I think our only anxiety is just like, keeping our doors open and making sure that we're able to pay our people, which is like, fortunately we're able to do that.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Bowl has like that, major like F&B component to it. Like you can go get dinner
Yeah.
before the show. Are you
hmm
guys getting creative?
and our Garcia Chicago just won from
Yeah.
Billboard best venue with a restaurant, and
Oh, cool.
that's our yeah yeah. So it's
Yeah,
and we're very proud of that.
yeah. I think mixed spaces like really are like, set to weather the storm a little bit better if it's not just about like alcohol sales, but like specifically at the bar, are you doing anything replacing alcohol sales like fresh juice or kombucha or like THC beverages?
Yeah, non-alcoholic, all that stuff, THC beverages, yeah, you name it. Yeah.
What's slapping the hardest in that category? Yeah,
I couldn't tell you right now what I don't know, but I feel like non-alcoholic sales are going up. Yeah,
that's good. That's
yeah.
good.
I'll
Okay.
have to look that one up for you, Matt. Yeah,
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. Again, this is
yeah,
the beauty of like the fastball questions. I always like to try and
yeah,
kind of for because venue owners are listening to
yeah.
this. So anyway, thanks for
Eric,
entertaining it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, no, no. Give me one more. Give me one more.
Well, all right, one more. Okay, what's you're a spiritual guy, so like, what's your like greatest hope for the next 10 years for society and the music industry and yeah, the live music industry, we'll call it. Yeah.
I'm feeling like bands are getting to me first and foremost. We're supporting music, obviously. Like building the places is incredible. This is what we do, and creating the places and the experience for people to do what they do. We're serving music, and if the music isn't good, something ain't working. I just feel like right now, I just think music is. I'm feeling it. People want music. There's a thirst for it, and people want to create cool new music. I think that there's been a real like I know there's been some stories about um, AI and music being, problematic. Definitely some reports of like, an artist who got infiltrated on their Spotify page with songs that sounded like them, but it wasn't them. And someone was kind of like, playing a prank on this artist. Like, yeah, things like that are terrible and not cool. I think people are shutting that down. I don't think AI is going to overtake humans playing music. It's just not going to happen. And I think too, you could take some solace in the fact that actually music with the AI surge that is happening and inevitably will actually kill many jobs, which is obviously a huge, we're really going to be seeing it very, very soon for a lot of people and a lot of white collar jobs, as a lot of economists are saying. Music and being in venues is actually a safe bet because
Yeah.
you literally can't replace what we do.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. So to me, that's an economic positive for this industry. So yeah.
Yeah, it might be one of the only industries left when AI kind of automates everything. Like my friends who like own cool lounges or like my friend has a bathhouse and I'm like, man, like I'm not worried about AI like disintermediating you, like
Add
yeah,
to it.
if so as long as like, we figure out like universal basic income and like people and we're not like society short of society being enslaved by AI or some like
Sure.
scenario, but like I believe in the world to come, like God willing, like everything's
Yes.
gonna work out and we can just make.
Olam haba, my friend.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I love
Aha. Aha.
love that deep cut.
Uh,
Nito ahe olam haba. Well, on that note, really positive conversation, man, and like good message that like people want what we're doing, lean in. Love to see you guys leaning in when people are leaning out and like, this matters for the world. It's spiritual. Of course we need to make money on it, but like it's just such a positive message and really cool deep dive into the world of Dayglo. It's always been this like fascinating, thing from the outside. Like what exactly is it? Relics and all these things. And
yeah.
you're the perfect person.
I like to refer to it as the mind of Peter Shapiro. You know, that's
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like that
And
movie Schenectady or whatever. Schenectady, like Philip
oh
Hoffman.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Love that. That's funny.
Uh,
Yeah, we
I
should
will
do build
break.
one of those. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
someday. Well, we'll wrap it on that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, Matt, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Really, and appreciate the product and everything you guys do for us to make our jobs and our lives easier.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we're all part we all see the same thing, and I got into this too because like the live music experience was and still is like one of the things that I like look forward most in life, like
Mhm.
going to a good show with good friends. And the next
There you
one
go.
will be May, hopefully not the immediate next one, but one will be May 20th at Stable Hall. So can't wait to
Awesome.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
May 28th, 22/8. So there you go.
Oh,
Perfect.
28th. Thank you. Okay, May
Yeah.
28th for anyone listening. All right. Yeah, catch me. See you both there. All right. See ya.